I've had a love for old technology and music for a while now, so I'm happy to have a little restoration project here that can take advantage of both of these hobbies. Right in front of us here is an old Swanson Portable Phonograph Player that I've recently got my hands on. It's a pretty simplistic device, but even after all these years, it still seems to work. The tone arm slash reproducer slash horn of the device I thought sat right underneath the metal Swanson plate here, but I later found out that is needle storage, and I will get back to that. Once you have the horn part of the needle set in place, you spin the crank on the side of the phonograph on about 30 times until, it gets to be a pain to actually turn. And once you have the machine all cranked up, you set an old shellac record onto the turntable and flick the metal stopper to release the mechanism, and once your record is spinning, lift and balance the needle onto the outer edge of the groove. Once it's balanced, sit back, relax, and enjoy your maximum 3 minutes of old swing, jazz, or country hits. Once the record itself finishes, it should stay dancing around in the inner dead groove of the shellac, and you just move the needle back into its rest spot and either flip or change the record. Besides a metal speed dial just below the turntable and rubber feet on both the bottom and the side of the case, 2 metal latches that lock the mechanism together, and 2 flaps that used to hold a handle that has well disintegrated by this point. That's all there is to the machine. It's definitely not the most high fidelity sound coming out of this horn, but assuming this is the shellac equivalent of a Crosley suitcase player of 90 to 100 years ago, how could I complain? Now, I wanted to try to see the insides of this thing here. So after removing the record platter, there are 8 flathead screws holding down the baseboard to the inner rim of the box, and 3 larger flatheads holding the baseboard to the main mechanism. Removing all of these reveals a mostly empty wooden inside with the main gear mechanism laying right in the middle. Besides right underneath where the 8 outer screws sat, and a lot of scattered needles throughout, the inside of this machine is pretty clean. There's still a bit of dust and blobs of grease that is not in the correct place, but a little bit of cleanup gets that removed very easily, and we can take a good look at how the mechanism works. Cranking the gear, hold on. Cranking the crank, spinning the crank spinning the crank will cause this main gear to wind up, and once you stop cranking, the gears in the back here start to turn, causing the center spindle to spin around, then turning the turntable. Finally, the piece of metal sticking out of the bottom left corner is attached to the speed dial and will adjust how fast the gears will spin, and in turn, how fast the record is going to spin. Putting everything back together was a little bit more of a hassle, as 2 of the 3 larger flatheads were deciding not to thread properly back in, but after a little adjusting, everything fit properly back into place. Unfortunately, when I started testing to see if records were playing at a proper speed, everything seemed to be spinning way too fast. Even at the slowest speed, my test shellac for this video, yes sir, that's my baby by the Firehouse 5+2, was running about 10 seconds faster than the recording on streaming platforms. I removed the speed dial, being held down by 2 small flatheads to try to get a better look at how the metal piece underneath adjusted the speed, and to see if removing it would fix the problem, but once again, it seemed to still be running a little bit fast, so I decided to wait till the next night to take a better look at it. So it's the next day, and my roommate decided to open it back up and put it all back together off camera, thank you. And it seemed to set the speed dial back into its proper place. So testing our shellac one more time, it seems to be running at just about the correct speed. Yes, sir, that's the right speed. So I would consider that a win. And another win is finally figuring out how to properly use this device. Is that I've been putting the horn in the wrong spot the whole time. It's actually supposed to fit in the hole that is in the back of the lid of the suitcase, letting the horn bounce the sound off the lid and back out to the listener. Now, I wouldn't say that it greatly increases the sound quality, but I guess I'm just glad I know how to properly use the device. Well, now that my device is restored, I was trying to figure out a few little details for it, which, after a little bit of digging, I found that the Library of Congress scanned an old The Talking Machine World magazine, and right on the July 15th, 1922 issue, on page 25, we have an ad for our lovely Swanson Portable Phonograph. It's a marvel. The only portable on the market equipped with a wooden tone arm, the recognized acme of perfection in tone production. Standard double spring Heinemann number 36 motor, high grade sound box and speed regulator, needle containers at the right of the turntable. Man, I really should have done the research for this first. Compact, attractive, and absolutely foolproof. No clamps, hinges, or push buttons to get out of order. But the machine has those. They're right here. Furnished in handsome black case and equipped with record album. Well, I guess I don't have the record album that normally fits in there, but that's fine. The lightest portable ever manufactured. A real portable. Phantom view, showing each part in place ready for carrying, and the Swanson ready for playing. List price of the Swanson, $40. Alright, well, if this came out in 1922, which I mean if it's being advertised, then it was either 1921 or 1922 most likely. Let's look at the inflation calculator. Oh, we're looking at $726.45 in today's money. Well, good thing it's still the early roaring 20s. I think people could afford it. Unusually liberal discounts to live jobbers and dealers. Write our nearest sales office for details. We have an exceptionally attractive sales proposition for successful established jobbing houses. Wire our nearest office today. Territory now being allotted. The good old Swanson Sales Company. R.W. Moon, general manager, and it has 3 different offices, one in New York, one in Chicago, Illinois, and one in Los Angeles, California. This is the only advertisement in my research actually advertising this exact model, and I'm happy it basically covers everything that I'm looking for. What an advertisement. I did also find one in a 2 years later issue that I found hosted on another website here. Advertises the next model produced 2 years later, the Swanson Junior Portable, which is a pretty similar device, but just with a slimmer box and the tone arm that does not come apart. It stays a part of the machine, and it is only $25 this time, or $27.50 if in Far West. Well, since I am on the West Coast, let's do another calculation real quick here. So, running the inflation calculator again, $27.50 in 1924 is $490.67 in today's money. So, definitely a lot better deal for a slimmer, probably same quality device. And in research of trying to find any on sale online, I found a few scattered on different auction websites. Nothing on eBay, which I was hoping for because it actually will tell me what the price is. A lot of them hid the price and whatnot behind an account, but it doesn't seem like there is too many of this exact machine online for sale at any given time. So if you are looking for a portable phonograph player, keep checking those thrift stores and estate sales. That's probably your best bet.